Hey gang, good morning. Uh, I am back on Twitch and whatever this YouTube thing I think is, but we have an internship program and we have some student web designers, and today we're near the end of this spring internship. I'm going to dig into the code we've been contributing to and do a little cleanup. I actually see there's a repo to update and pull down, so I'm going to grab some of that stuff. Let's just get into it. Poof, here we go. Okay, I'm going to try. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of this view right here. I'm going to try to make this big. Yeah, let's do that. Poof. All right. So I'm working in VS Code. I've kind of like hidden a bunch of scripts. Like that right there that you can see is kind of Blockly thing. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I see there are some updates and I know we've done some big code, I'm going to copy our main file and I'm going to put it somewhere else. Actually, I'm going to open this in a file explorer. I'm going to copy this. You can't. You might not be able to see that right now, but I'm going to put it on my desktop just for now. All done. Because there's some things in there I think we want, and I caught the fact that our GitHub has some updates and changes. So let's go check out GitHub right now. Source control, the things I'm pulling in, because I've set up a Git to actually pull from main. Kind of see that here we can't read the whole thing, but revamped something. Okay, cool. So let's sync these changes. We'll pull in right now, push and pull. Okay. Once again, we're pulling and pushing from main. Oh, poof! Everything went away, which is fine. We went, to a backup anyway. So let's see what else. No cache and development. We can probably get rid of that. I'm going to clean up a lot of this code. I'm going to do some other stuff. Let's just quickly scroll through. This is our document. I've stuck in some PHP code here because we want to start using user accounts. So PHP right here starts a PHP session, so we can do things like store user information on the server side and share that with everything else. If we need to, the rest of this document this is all HTML. You can see right here. So we get into the HTML and JavaScript. This is all our header tags. We're using a package called Blockly right here, where you can see, and I think we pulled in way too many Blockly scripts. I kind of want to test that in a minute, and we'll see what happens there. Load. Oh, we're now loading custom blocks. I heard that was part of this. We have an English Blockly package, and then we have an add-on called Continuous Toolbox that restyled the toolbox for the Blockly. Just a quick rundown. Let's go peek at what's changed. There it is right there. This is our website. I open this in a live preview panel on the side, and I will edit and work with it and do some changes and things. I love these animations that everybody's been working on. So if we open new here, oh wow, snap. Okay, so we have a ton of blocks now. Check that out. Very fun, cool. And yeah, so you can set to X position, Y position, size. This is great. Somebody actually put a lot of effort into that, and I love it. Yes, that is fun. That is cool, and this looks like well planned, well thought out. So we can move blocks by steps. We can move to a position. We can set the size to. We can change size by. We can rotate. We can set rotation, and here are add-on blocks so that you can rotate by X position, that kind of thing. Yep, and there are panels over here on the side. Very cool. Well done. That looks decent. I'm not going to play with the website or show anybody what's going on, but I'm going to get done with that. But all of this is custom blocks that interns have been working on for this semester. And I'm going to push this back to the side just so we can get rid of it. But this is live show preview. It's called live preview is the extension. What's installed here? Let's see. Where is it? Live preview right there. Host a local server in the local workspace. Yep. Okay. So live preview is what I use. If you need to install that, you can install that, and then you can just click on this little show preview over here, and you can see the page you're working on as you're changing. I don't think I've shared that with anyone yet. Okay, cool. The second thing I noticed, we actually ditched Google Analytics for a company called Clicky. I'm not really going to talk too much more about that right now, but it's worthy of its own conversation. Cool. One thing I am guilty of is I never write scripts that just run. Instead, excuse me, I learned JavaScript and HTML and things with this bad habit of just creating a function that runs when the body loads. I wanted to change that today. We'll see if I get enough time to do that. Another bad habit I picked up in learning is always using these relative links. And I don't know that we will change that today. We want to change our menu, and I think this section right here is the menu. It's commented. We know it's the navigation menu. It's kind of cleaned up. And the end navigation menu right here. So most of this looks very good. Let's just go back very quickly because I did not talk about the menu. These animations are great, but you can see the help kind of flexes. And this menu is like site-wide. And we don't want this question mark here. We don't want the help on the site-wide help, because there are pages where it's just a static page and there's no reason to get help. So what we want to do, since this is already happening, is move this question mark. People will need help here using these blocks and using things. We want to interact with them. So we want to move our help to a panel like this that actually has help content right there that you can interact with. So one project we have in GitHub is to create a new panel here that includes this help button so that we can get rid of it. I'm not going to comment this out right now, although I want to. These pages don't exist yet, and we could actually spend some time designing these menus a little better. This was a fun surprise to find also. Check that out. Yeah, that's also fun. I kind of want to put that in other places on the website. Okay, so what else is going on the HTML side of things here? Okay. So we had a button style. I'm going to use Control or Alt Z so that word wraps in my text editor here. So we've got this add blocks button. The color Alice blue, something here. I think we might want to just get rid of this altogether. I don't remember that it was doing anything. So maybe we just get rid of that and take it away. But so all of this is the block building, the viewport for the block building. this is basically the rest of the website. My mouse scroll button is jacked up. So all of this is the menu that we just hovered over for a bit. The rest of this is the menu. Or it is not, sorry, not the menu, but the rest of the website. And let's break this down into let's comment in here. This is the left panel display. We'll call it left display panel here. So you can see there's a viewport frame. There's a sprite, class called view sprite. Then there's a settings frame. And we have commented out some graphics for the run button, the stop button. We were originally using SVGs. We managed to add some buttons and things. Then we have our alien settings for our little sprite, our little guy that's running around in the panel. And maybe we could set that in its own div. I'm going to delete this line right here like that. I'm going to add alien sprite settings, sprite form/settings right there, so that we know that that's where the sprite is. I imagine at some point in the future we'll probably want to put this in a div in its own container so that we can manipulate it a little bit better. One thing we want to do here is we have these buttons called connect and upload. I'm going to open this back up over here. You can see them right here. I love the graphics on these, but I think people don't, our students, I never explained what these are for. So if we had a device like a robot, like an Arduino, if we were using something like we used in our old programs, we would connect by USB and upload our blocks, our code to the robots. So I built this into the example as the website just to show this, but I think we want to get rid of this in this setting because we're building basically the first app to control this little sprite guy right here, to control this guy right here. And we're not going to be uploading this to anything else because it works right in the browser. It works right here in the viewport. So I think I should comment here, connect and upload buttons are for advanced, future planned, functionality that will not work with the sprite. We'll work with devices, not the sprite. There we go. So hopefully, if people are messing with that, we can discuss that. That will functionality to upload functionality with devices, not needed for sprite. There. I'm also going to hit Control S several times. You'll see it change up here in the top. I'm just a very big fan of doing that as I'm going along. Okay, so the left panel here, and I'm going to shrink this down so we can see the left panel ends right here. This is the main Blockly panel. You can see this is the this is called Blockly div. That's what we use to call all of this Blockly. And right now it says, welcome to our no-code development platform. This is basically for, and I'm going to do that just so we can see it a little bit better. Yep. So now you can kind of see this is the welcome to our no-code development platform, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, well, we want to get rid of that. We don't want to always show this, but I stuck it in here for, no, stop with the pop-ups, VS Code. That's annoying. I stuck it in here for a little bit of SEO to help us with this development platform, workspace, some keywords in there. We want to move that eventually to a pop-up that will go away so people can click, you know, like stop showing this. And then we get to the code window, which is not actually the code. Not actually the code window. This is the start. Okay, so I can shrink this down too. We can get rid of that so we're not seeing that. This is not actually code window anymore. We've updated this. The code window was the first thing I built. So let's cut code window. Oh, yeah, and we will leave, it says code tab down here. Yep, that is the actual code tab. So let's redo that. And instead of calling it code window, we'll call this the right slide out panel. I'm mixing all my right panel slide out. Let's do that. Okay, cool. Then the right panel slide out has these are the buttons that stick out. Panel buttons. So these two blocks here are the panel buttons. One that says sidebar file button and sidebar code button. Their class is sidebar button right here, blah, blah, blah. They have their data panel, which set as file or code. Cool. Very explainable. This is the code tab. And then we will add another comment in here. File panel, file tab. Let's do that. And in fact, this looks like it was commented out from code. So what I'm going to do, since we have a cleaner code here, I'm going to clean this up and not call it div something. We're going to call this the code tab, code view tab, like that. Because if we go back, Control S, if we go back here, you can see this is the file window, this is the code tab, code view tab. So they're there. That's actually not part of the view or anything else. It's just there. So okay. So we can close these buttons. We can close the code view panel. We can close the file tab. We're not working in that or anything, and we have some changes planned. Cool. This is the last piece here is the script, which goes to devices here. Well, I'm going to dig through that in a minute. We're going to go in this. defines our workspace, the actual blocks that are showing in here. If I just say this, it makes it easier. So this toolbox here has a bunch of these buttons. This XML block here actually just lists the buttons that we're going to show in here. If it's not in this category and in this list here, it won't show up here even if we've coded the buttons. So there's a two-step process I'm going to get into in just a second. Back to the code blocks though. So this is an XML function, and we can change this. We can set this right now that this is the toolbox, has a display of none, this is the style, and then the rest of this is XML. There are two options for this. We can use XML, and the team that builds Blockly recently added an option to define the workspace using JSON objects instead of XML files or structures. But I think we had two XML. Yep, see here's XML toolbox, display none. This ID is different from the other one. So we have two, we can load different categories. Backup. Second, let's call it alternate. Alternate toolbox. Block. Toolbox. Definition. Like that. I actually want to comment here. And defining blocks is a terrible definition. So let's beef up this definition here. Default toolbox declaration. This defines the blocks. We see in our toolbox, and we will copy that right there and add down here to the bottom alternate toolbox declaration, just so I'm using the same terminology everywhere else. So this is an old, I think the original that came with Blockly. Super. And this was a script that I added. We moved this. I wrote all of this in one page. So this is obviously a script to inject Blockly into the workspace. This is now in a different place. So I'm going to remove all of this right here. And I remove things just by doing that. There we go. We kind of cut out everything. So now this is 500 lines of code. A good chunk of this is the XML here. If we shrink this down, it will give you a good idea of the size, the number of code lines here. Yeah, so our website actually only has about 200 lines of code. So at the end here, we call devices.js. I'm going to pull devices.js over here. Ta-da! Because I like doing this. So now we have both. We have both our page and our devices thing. And if you're curious, yes, CodeView still works like this. There we go. So I can switch back and forth between these two, and I can still work in code. And this is usually how I use JS or VS Code. I'll close the file menu and have two pages open so that I can see the JavaScript that I'm calling and the HTML that it's kind of fitting into. This is how I prefer to work on this kind of stuff together. All right, but we're not going to stare too much at this page over here. We're going to look now here. Very cool. So I stuck in this code recently. This right here, you can read this. It fetches URL data before the page loads. So I've added an event listener for when the page is loaded, when the DOM elements are loaded. It takes apart the URL, and I've added some comments here, some code. So basically it adds a devices folder, and it makes sure that yeah, we're not going to touch that right now. I'm still working on that. This is the sprite definition. Let's call this the, wait, why is my, it looks weird. Okay, let's just code. This is the global sprite object right there. Function called on HTML body load right there, just like that. And I want to change that. So what this does here, let's walk through this very quickly. Let me save. This does first, it builds, it was meant to create a Blockly area and load a Blockly file. I don't think that happens right when it loads. Oh no, this just defines the Blockly variables. Defines Blockly toolbox. Does not inject the toolbox. There we go. Okay, so this is just sets up the definitions. It goes and grabs, like if you see this line right here, I hate this little bubble right here. I don't want to show code actions. So this defines a couple constants. We're going to compare them over here. Where do we go? We're going to shrink down this section here and get it out of the way. It defines this Blockly div right here. You can see it grabs the Blockly area, grabs the Blockly div. Do we have a Blockly area? No, we don't. I think that's just needed by the Blockly code. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've mashed on this stuff myself. It sets a toolbox to the toolbox definition right here, which, if you remember, is this. So this is where we define the toolbox we want to use. I could switch this and call it XML toolbox and call the alternate block toolbox declaration. So we could actually use different toolboxes and different sets of blocks throughout this. And here we would obviously actually just define a different constant if we wanted to use different blocks for different elements. Like, let's say we had two different sprites. Let's say there was an alien and a dog. This could be changed to dog settings, dog div, and dog area. And then we could have this one, which says aliens or sprite blocks. So that's probably something I will change when we get to building extra stuff. Okay, but the rest of this create UI function calls something called create menu. And let's go find that. I like to split this out. Let's do this. I will go find stuff. Let's take this back here. So now we have two sides of this code right here. I want to go find create menu, and because I don't remember what it does, I want to find create menu. Create menu is not even in it, it's only called once. We must define it somewhere else. So I'm going to go back to our code and see what other pages we... Oh, create menu was for the menu. And that is my terrible coding right there. So creates menu, main menu. Creates the main menu. Actually, adds listeners, event listeners to the main menu. There we go. Cool. Super. This function is in menu.js. Just a little note so that we know what that is as we figure this out. Oh, boo! Okay. So that part doesn't work in this when it refreshes. Good to know. All right. So this is the sprite handler right here. You can see sprite object gets the view sprite. Then this is commented fairly well. Add tool. I hate these pop-ups. Handle the add toolbox button, click event. Sprite handler. Cool. Handle the run button event. Handle the stop button event. Very good, very good. I dig all of this. Okay, so let's shrink this down so we can see things. Handle the add toolbox, handle the run toolbox, handle the stop button, handle the login. We could probably move these things out of login and sign up. Oh, wait. No, that is not the sprite handler. Let's do this. So the code is not indented the same here. If it's like that, that helps us out a little bit more. This is not the sprite handler. Reference to sprite. Let's just call it reference to sprite. So what I think I want to do here is move this to the sprite. Let's put this up here with the sprite. Like that. Reference to sprite HTML element. There we go. So the sprite is a variable. And then there is a sprite.object. Very cool. Very, very fun way to define that. So now we can kind of shrink down. Oh, we're still in this function create UI. Create UI calls all of the event handlers. So the event handler for the run button, the stop button, the connect button, which has not been implemented yet, the login button, the sign up button. Okay, cool. And then this is the handler for the sidebar slide out. So we're adding a bunch of other event handlers. So what I think I want to do here is move this to the top. Where we're defining all of our other constants right there. And once again, I note that the spacing is a little off, the indents should be in a little. So I'm just going to clean that up. This does not handle the slide out menu. So this, I'm running out of time. Here we are, get references. To the menu, to the right menu, right slide out. What did I call that? The right slide out? Right panel slide out. That's what I called that. Right panel slide out. Not just the buttons. We also got references to panel. No, Google. I know what time it is. We're not doing this. It will be rainy. Boo. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Okay, so we've got references to this right panel slide out there. Just so everybody knows what's going on there. Defines the toolbox of the Blockly element. This is all the stuff that happens, and it doesn't have to happen in a function here because this was originally declared way up here in the HTML. I created the function, but now that it is called here, we could probably change that so that this doesn't happen in a function and actually just happens up here with the this window event loader. I'm not going to change that right now, but I will. That will be my contribution to cleaning up my code so that all this stuff happens. Event listener for the new button. Let's see. So, okay. Create menu adds events listener to the main menu. This function is there. Then adds event listeners to the remainder of the UI. Right there. Handler for the add, handle the run, handle the stop. Once again, these are kind of set too far. In. So I'm just going to clean these up just a tiny bit, just like that. So now we can see what is this handler button for handle the file tab, click event, handle the code tab, click event. Handle the new button in the file panel. This one handle the open button in the file panel. This one, handle the download button in the code panel. There we go. Okay, so those are all the things here. You can see the sign up button, the login button, have functions. I think they're way down here. Yeah. And their tabs are also very far out. But we'll come back to those in a second. So I think we've cleaned up all of this. Cool. We want to put this in a function all on its own, I think. At some point. This is messy. There we go. Okay. Okay. Better. Handle the open event. Once again, this is kind of messy. Okay. So handle the open button. We can get rid of this. Actually, you can see here, I commented this out. But you can see here the open button I was using to test different toolboxes to see what happens with different toolboxes. So what I'm going to do now is, and I was trying to use the JSON toolbox, which we'll get into at the bottom here. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to change this. Let's see. Using this button to test alternate toolboxes. Cool. And once again, this is just way too far out. Oh, no, it's not. These are. This is why we want to add this constant inject, all of this stuff to its own function here, because then this will be a lot easier to read later on. And we're basically calling the same function twice. We're calling here, you can see the same basic settings right there. And if we take a peek at this next door, blah, 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 blah. You can kind of see the same repeat here, right there. That is basically the same code that should be in its own function called initialize Blockly or something. And then we would pass it these variables. We would pass it the toolbox. We would pass it, this one cleared the Blockly div and loaded a new toolbox from scratch into the same workspace. So we would actually just repeat all of this and hand it the Blockly div and the toolbox and let it inject as a function. I will not be doing that, but I might hop in here and do that some time in the not so distant future. All right, so now we can get back to, now I want to go back to that view. Function to handle the login. I wrote these a long time ago just to prepare. This stuff is not set yet. It's using PHP to grab the user that's logged in, that kind of thing. Needs rewrite. And we're not going to address this right now. Async function handle login. But I am going to oh, no. Okay. We want to do this because I want to fix these indents because they bug me. Cool. And this is not ideal. This is not what we want. We would grab in, since this is not a PHP file, this is an HTML file. And I think I let ChatGPT write some of this. Can't use PHP. There's a little bit of a definition. This was me just testing. Constant for testing. Constant for UI dev, not really testing. Retrieve user data from the server's database. Retrieve from the response. Blah, 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 that kind of thing. And this was meant to be a pop-up. But I don't see the pop-up. It's not a missing pop-up. Missing modal. With login form. Now that I'm looking at the code a little bit more, then it would send the email and password from the form. I don't think we have jQuery installed. Nope. Google ChatGPT Copilot is suggesting this is not secure. Might need jQuery. Let's see, can't use PHP. Display, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Not written yet. Oh, wait, this is sign up. Duh. There it is right there. Open login modal. Okay, so we have two different functions. One of them is wrong. and combination with open login modal. Open login modal function below. Okay. Once again, my tab stops are off. And then there is the, we're going to delete this because we're not going to use it. Let's just go back and check. Wait, handler. Let's go check a handler, make sure this is not added to a handler. Handle the new button, handle the open button, handle the download button, handle the fine. Oh, okay, so handle. So we're going to remove the sign up button. Actually, we're going to remove all of this. We're not going to sign up in this page for user workflow reasons. So I'm commenting all of that out. Show modal with informing user that work will not be saved with option to close or continue to https www.usersignup. There we go. Cool. That will be our sign up modal. It will be a little pop-up that tells the user you're not logged in, this stuff won't be saved. They can either close and try to figure out how to go save, or they can go sign up. Cool. Now we get to the good stuff. This replaces, this is the JSON toolbox that replaces this toolbox. And once again, all of my tab stops are off. By 1 in this. Okay, so alternate toolbox definition, declaration using JSON instead of XML. We have not implemented this yet. We would like to not use this here, this XML here. Instead, we would kind of like to set this JSON toolbox variable and do all of this stuff here. You can kind of see this is a very small set of blocks. And once again, I'm not going to get into that today, but there we go. So now everybody hopefully should know what that actually does there. And I think we may move these functions all the way to the end, like the UI functions all the way to the end, and let us focus on the workspace, building of the workspace up here. I feel like everybody's getting lost in realizing that there's all this fancy stuff at the bottom. Cool. All right. Yes. Okay, I see that. Yep. And there we go. Cool. I think I'm done. I think for the most part, everything is commented now. I should add here needs update. Needs update. Before use. There. Okay. All right. So this shall be easier to read. And our JSON here is about 500 lines. Let's now, I kind of want to see what happens here. Let's open this page. Cool. We don't want this to change. I don't have PHP installed on my desktop. So when I make changes, this will go crazy. Oh, we do have jQuery installed. Okay, so we can use that other package. So I think here we've loaded all of this. And I don't think we need all of that. So let's organize this just a little bit. Here. Okay. We loaded the main Blockly page. I don't think we need to load Blockly compressed and blocks compressed and JavaScript compressed and message compressed. So here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to pull this up here. Yeah, so we're going to close that right now because that's distracting. Oh, no, I grabbed the wrong one. Load continuous toolbox plugin. Okay. We're not using Blockly in our own server. We are calling it from unpackage. And I think these are two of the same things, so I'm going to comment this out like that, because I think we're loading the full Blockly uncompressed, and then we're loading Blockly compressed. Well, this probably defaults to that, but we're calling it twice, and it makes the page take longer to load. This is the default block there. Load our custom blocks. Load a generator, load a message file, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, I did copy instead of paste, like that. So now if we open this page, it should work. Oh, we do need to... Let's put that back then. Okay, so we did need to load that. So do we need to load this? Yeah, we don't need to load Blockly compressed. I also don't think we need to load blocks compressed. Because I think loading the core package adds the compressed Blockly, compressed blocks, compressed JavaScript, and compressed message. But we will double check. We will confirm that right now. Okay. So we're going to do that. I also don't think we need to load a generator, but we're going to try it out. I think we need to load other generators, but I think JavaScript comes with Blockly core. So let's just try it out. Yep, see here's the JavaScript right there. So we don't need to load the code. Right there, and I think also we do not need to load the Blockly message. So let's try that out after I comment out. I think that one loads by default. Move character to the left containing the amount of steps. Okay. All right, cool. All right. That is better. So we kind of cleaned up the loading here. Those things don't happen. Load Blockly scripts from source. We can just delete that. Blockly compressed, blocks compressed, JavaScript compressed, and message compressed. Load our custom blocks. Let's do the toolbox. No, well, we'll leave that alone there. Okay. So I think that's cleaned up a little bit. Let's go check out custom blocks very quickly because we just haven't touched it or discussed it yet. There's also a workspace JavaScript, which I might just delete right now because we don't call it anywhere. Let's search workspace.js. It's nowhere to be found. So we don't call it in here. We could probably just delete the file. Let's take a quick peek at what it does. It defines a default workspace and it starts to do this. So let's just delete that. Yep, we're going to push it to the recycling bin. Thank you. Default toolbox XML. We don't call this ever at all. This was the default toolbox from Blockly. And there we go. I believe I was adding color to the category name, that kind of thing. But We can easily, if we need this again, we can make it again. I feel like it's confusing to run turns as I was developing stuff, so we just get rid of it right there. There we go. Cool. Devices, CSS, custom blocks. Let's open custom blocks. Let's throw it over here and check it out. Yes. There we go. Yeah, I don't think this works. I tried setting that. That was me trying to set things. Define custom colors. Cool. This might not work. Attempt to redefine default. A default. And we're going to wrap text just so I can read that. Okay, so this is the move right. So in custom blocks, I'm going to add a comment here. Let's do this. This defines the blocks. The blocks. This defines custom. Okay, custom blocks. In addition to the default blocks provided by Blockly. Once they are defined here, they can be declared in the toolbox object. Using either XML at the bottom of the HTML file or JSON at the bottom of devices.js file. There we go. Cool. All right. Each definition includes defining the block and the code generation only JavaScript for now. once blocks are defined here, they can be declared in the toolbox object. Awesome. Check it out. Yes. Okay, I think everything is commented much better now. Hopefully everybody understands all of this stuff. I think we could probably turn off this no cache in development yet. We're probably to the point past a point of development. But let's just check out the final version. Ta-da! Cool. All right. There were some issues where this page would hang on load, and I think it was related to calling all of these extra scripts right here. So I'm glad we kind of got rid of that. If we define our own generator, for example, if we want to start coding an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi or something, we might need to include Python or create our own generator for Arduino C, but those things are easily documented in the Blockly documentation. They've done a great job at documenting all this stuff. We can also hack the continuous toolbox. I have a beef with this continuous toolbox because this toolbar doesn't actually close once it opens. And on small devices like this, the toolbox takes up a lot of space. So it's possible we can go hack the continuous toolbox to make this close when it's clicked here. Right now, you can see it just no. Okay, but anyway. All right, I have been here for way more than an hour. I'm running out of time as we hear my alarm clock go, and that's about it. All right, so for the most part, this was me cleaning up our code, talking through it, mostly in an attempt to just see if our Twitch account still works. And because I've been using Slack as our workspace communications tool to create these little 3-minute videos on edits and updates and things, I thought I'd just work through some of this here, and giving me the chance to talk about this hopefully helps everybody else who are all the contributors right now. I plan on coming back into this and rewriting some of the inject code so that it's its own function, so that we can start calling new blocks workspaces, that kind of thing, multiple workspaces, and possibly rewriting the XML as JSON. But I've got a lot on my plate also. I want to help work out the user sign-in so that people can actually start saving their background, and that requires a lot of PHP and work on our server end. I don't want to throw a lot of that stuff at interns because it's complicated to log into our server and manipulate, like the Apache settings with our web server, with our web host, that kind of thing. But file structures are going to happen. That involves me writing some SQL code to assign a workspace variable to a user and set up some permissions, like whether it's public, private, whether they can share it, who else has access to that, and some error handling when somebody tries to get access and they don't have access, that kind of thing on the back end. And once that is all done, we should be able to save not just the Blockly space, but all of the panel settings, like the sprite settings, which blocks are actually loaded, that kind of thing. So we'll want to build all that out. Yeah, that's about it. But I gotta run and do some other stuff. I love working with this, and I love hearing that some of our interns actually like building with Blockly. I think it's easy, it's fun, and we're instead of building our own video games and things like that, we're actually building the platforms that other people can use to create stuff. So that's very cool. I also will be digging into our 3D modeling, the designs page. There's a lot of work that has to be done there. It's basically just barely functional now, and we're kind of hacking an old unmaintained repo. So it's kind of a pain, and I'm not going to set up a whole development environment just to figure out what they've written. Yeah, but we will get there. I think by the end of the spring, that will be by the end of the spring, in about a month from now, I'll be able to define objects and be able to define how people can help us code there. All right, I am done. This is it. I'm gonna go.